The walls of Sadakat Ashram in Patna have seen it all. They have witnessed history being made. Once, this was the nerve center of the freedom struggle in Bihar. It was the home of Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first president of India. The air here once buzzed with the energy of leaders who shaped a nation. Imagine the scene. Congress workers in khadi, faces filled with hope, small groups discussing the future of a newly independent India. This ashram was not just a building, it was a symbol. It represented the unchallenged authority of the Indian National Congress in Bihar. It was the heart from which the party's power flowed, reaching every village, reaching every town. The Ganga flows quietly nearby, a silent witness. Today, the silence within Sadakat Ashram feels different. Not the silence of contemplation, but of quiet obsolescence. The grand old building still stands, a testament to a glorious past. The political vibrancy has largely faded, replaced by nostalgia. Leaders who walk its corridors today carry a heavy legacy. The decisions made here no longer send ripples across Bihar. Instead, the ashram often waits for instructions from Delhi. It has become a relic, a museum of past glories. A place where memories of power are more palpable than power itself. One can almost hear the echoes of the past. This transformation, from center of power to symbol of decline, mirrors Congress in Bihar, a journey from absolute dominance to near irrelevance. How did a party that was once the sun become a faint star? To answer that, we must travel back in time. Revisit the era when the Congress formula seemed infallible. Dissect the social coalition it built. Then watch how that coalition crumbled, brick by brick. The story begins with a carefully constructed political machine. From bustling courtyards to quiet lawns, the tale is profound. It is a saga of social change. After India's independence in 1947, the Congress Party in Bihar was not just a political party, it was an institution. It was an umbrella under which various, often conflicting interests found shelter. Political scientist Rajni Kothari famously called this the Congress system. In Bihar, this system was perfected into a formidable election-winning machine. The party stitched together a powerful social coalition that seemed, for a long time, simply unbeatable. At the top of this pyramid were the upper castes, Brahmins, Bhumihars, Rajputs. They were the traditional landowning elites and held significant social and economic power. The Congress gave them political representation, ensuring their dominance continued. In return, they provided the party with leadership, resources, influence. This alliance with the upper castes was balanced with the inclusion of other crucial communities. The Dalits, or scheduled castes, formed a significant and loyal vote bank for the Congress. For a community that had faced centuries of oppression, the Congress, with its message of social justice, appeared as a savior. Mahatma Gandhi, Jagjivan Ram. The party's welfare policies kept the Dalits firmly in its fold. The promise of a more equitable society, however slow the progress, also helped. They saw the Congress as their protector against the very upper castes who also supported the party. The monolithic structure of the Congress in Bihar began to show its first significant cracks in the 1960s. The problem was not external, but internal. The party was a victim of its own success. Since it was the only game in town, all political ambition had to be realized within the Congress. This led to intense factionalism, primarily along caste lines. The upper castes, who had long dominated the leadership, were themselves divided. Bhumihars, Rajputs, Brahmins. They were locked in a constant struggle for control over the party organization and the government. Chief ministers and party presidents were chosen based on which faction had the upper hand, creating a culture of perpetual infighting and instability. This internal rivalry weakened the party from within. While the leaders were busy fighting amongst themselves, a quiet revolution was brewing at the grassroots. The other backward classes were becoming politically conscious. Yadav, Kurmi, Kuri. They had gained some economic strength through land reforms and the Green Revolution. Now they sought political power commensurate with their growing numbers and economic clout. They saw that the Congress was dominated by the upper castes, and their path to leadership within the party was blocked. This growing aspiration found a voice in socialist leaders operating outside the Congress. Leaders inspired by Ram Manohar Lohia began to articulate a powerful anti-Congress sentiment. Lohia's slogan of Samajwad ne bandi gandh, pichte pavan sau main saath, resonated deeply. It was a direct challenge to the Congress's upper caste-led power structure. They felt the Congress took their votes but denied them power. The simmering discontent of the backward classes in fighting among upper caste Congress leaders finally boiled over. Opposition parties came together, led by the socialists, forming the Samyukta Vidayak Dal, the SVD. For the first time, a non-Congress government took office in Bihar, led by Mahamaya Prasad Sinha. The invincible aura of the Congress was shattered. The party was no longer seen as the natural party of governance. This election proved the Congress could be defeated. The real star of this new political era was Karpuri Thakur, a leader from the Nai, or Barber, community, one of the extremely backward castes. As Deputy Chief Minister, and later as Chief Minister, Karpuri Thakur became the face of backward class assertion. He was a man of the people, simple in his lifestyle, and radical in his politics. He championed the cause of social justice and introduced policies that directly challenged the existing power structure. His most significant move was the implementation of a reservation formula, which came to be known as the Karpuri Thakur formula. It provided quotas in government jobs for OBCs, created sub-quotas for the most backward classes, reserved spots for women and for the poor from the upper castes. This was a revolutionary step. It fragmented the broad OBC category and recognized the most deprived sections. The policy further alienated the upper castes, but consolidated a massive support base for leaders like Karpuri Thakur. The Congress was paralyzed. Support it and anger upper castes, oppose it and lose the backwards. This dilemma would haunt the party for decades. Although SVD governments were unstable, they changed the political discourse in Bihar from development and nationalism, as defined by the Congress, to social justice and caste identity. The imposition of the emergency in 1975 was a political earthquake, and its tremors were felt deeply in Bihar. The JP movement became a nationwide crusade. The suspension of rights, arrests, and crackdowns created a wave of anger. In 1977, the Janata Party swept Bihar. The Congress was wiped out, a moral defeat. Though the Congress returned in 1980, the social fabric of its support base had torn. The 1980s were a period of decay, corruption, lawlessness, and horrific caste massacres such as Pipra and Belchi. Dalits felt the Congress was no longer their protector. The leadership was seen as siding with perpetrators. A vacuum opened. New, more radical voices began to fill it. The 1990s shattered Congress completely. The Mandal Commission's implementation unleashed a storm. Bihar was the epicenter. The state divided sharply along caste lines while the Congress dithered, alienating both sides. Lalu Prasad Yadav rose to prominence, a product of the JP movement, a champion of the backward classes and the poor, with rustic humor, earthy language, and defiant style. He declared his unflinching support for Mandal and projected himself as the savior of the subalterns against the upper caste establishment. He famously said that he would give the poor and the downtrodden a voice, even if he couldn't give them much else. Lalu reconfigured Bihar's political landscape, building a formidable Muslim Yadav alliance. He actively courted the Muslims, who felt insecure amid the BJP's rise and the Babri movement. When he ordered the arrest of L.K. Advani during the Rath Yatra, he cemented his image as a staunch secularist and protector of minorities. Muslims drifting from Congress now saw Lalu as guardian. The Yadavs rallied behind one of their own. This MY combination, supplemented by Dalits and other OBCs, decimated the Congress. The Congress's traditional vote banks, upper castes, Dalits and Muslims, deserted it en masse. Upper castes gravitated towards the BJP, Muslims and a majority of backward classes and Dalits shifted to Lalu's Janata Dal, later the Rashtriya Janata Dal. In 1990, the party was voted out of power and never returned as the dominant force. The age of Lalu had begun, and the Congress was relegated to the sidelines. The post-1990 era brought a humiliating role reversal. Vote share plunged to single digits. Organization collapsed. For decades, Congress' existence in Bihar was defined by dependence on the RJD. In alliances, it was subservient, allotted hard-to-win seats, and lacked say in strategy. It became a training ground for leaders who then defected to the RJD or to the BJP for better prospects. The High Command in Delhi prioritized national coalitions over rebuilding the state unit. Survival through alliances stalled social base rebuilding. Upper castes remained with the BJP. Dalits fragmented, with Ram Vilas Paswan, Jitan Ram Manchi, the BJP and the RJD. Muslims continued to back the RJD. Reinvention attempts were sporadic, projecting Akhilesh Prasad Singh aimed at upper caste outreach, but risked alienating backwards and minorities. As we stand in the latter half of 2025, the Congress in Bihar is at a crossroads. As we stand here today, on September 30th, 2025, the questions are louder than ever. Can the party reclaim its lost ground? Can this ashram once again be Bihar's epicenter? Or is it destined to remain a beautiful, poignant reminder of what once was? Can the Congress ever reclaim its lost glory in Bihar? Can it rebuild a social coalition in an era of intense caste-based identity politics? Or will it continue to be a minor player, a shadow of its former self, its fate tied to the fortunes of its more powerful regional allies? The silent walls of Sadakat Ashram hold the memory of its glorious past, but they offer no easy answers for its uncertain future. The Congress cadres are buoyed by a recent voter at Hikar Yatra. The party is driving a hard bargain for winnable seats, but years of piggybacking on the RJD leave the peach lagu sting. Many find dependence on the RJD unacceptable. Khet to hamara pura banjar hai. Without clarity on contesting, local growth withers. With a renewed emphasis on caste census and proportional reservation, the Congress seeks to write off its past, acknowledging it was seen as an upper caste party and aiming now to court OBCs. From pre-emergency to post-Lalu, Bihar rewrote the rules. Whether Sadakat Ashram becomes a command center once more, or remains a museum of memories, depends on if Congress can rebuild trust where it first lost it.